Well guys, we did it. We actually managed to upload a video on this channel and it stayed up. Fucking hell. I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah, if you don't know, I've had some problems with YouTube over the last 4 videos, but last video, it went up, it stayed up, and I had no problems, and honestly, I feel like I need to have a party. But there's no time for partying, because my mood soon hit the floor faster than ever when I was reminded that David Dobrik exists. I actually forgot about him because he doesn't upload to YouTube anymore. I didn't really know what he was doing with his life anymore. I just assumed he was living off his millions. But of course, I take recommendations for the video topics from my Instagram, and I saw a lot of you guys asking me to cover David Dobrik and Doughbriks, which I had absolutely no idea what that was. And I'll tell you, it was an interesting surprise because the one business line that I didn't expect David Dobrik to go down was a pizza place, but obviously I was proven very wrong. And at first I was like, oh, so people just want me to criticize David Dobrik's new pizza shop, is that it? But it turns out there's a lot more to it, a lot more to do with the Jeff Wittek and David Dobrik situation, where some more information has came out that shows some of the more lies that David told, and even a report that David apparently gave that, is pretty sketchy, but we'll get into that later in the video. But firstly, if you are new here, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, I'm trying to hit 400,000 subscribers on this channel, and we're quite a bit off right now, so if you could help out, that would be great. So yeah, like I mentioned, David Dobrik has released his new pizza shop, and it's called Doughbriks. It's right across the street from that Saddle Ranch place in LA that literally every single TikToker in existence used to go every single day just to get paparazzi'd. And David even had an interview with NBC, and he said, "We would go all the time at Saddle Ranch. Now we're open here until 3 AM. Other places close. This will be the spot for our friends to come and eat and hang out." So you can see he's kind of picked this location with it being a bit of a influencer location. He's even mentioned that him and his friends are always going to be there hanging out, which obviously he's probably said just has a bit of a marketing thing, you know. If you do go to Doughbriks, you might get to meet Heath, Zane and the rest. And at first when I heard about this, I was like, is a pizza place really that profitable? I feel like for the average person, yes, obviously, but David Dobrik is a multi-millionaire, so I was just thinking, how profitable is this one pizza place gonna be? But then I saw the menu, and it's probably gonna be pretty profitable, because as you can see here, their cheapest pizza is $28, and their most expensive is $38, which I'm not exactly sure how expensive your pizzas are in America, but that seems absurd. That's £31 in my currency. That is absolutely mental. I feel like the most expensive pizza I could get in my area would be a tenner, maybe. Probably a little bit less. If I'm paying £30 for food, I'm expecting a 16-ounce steak or something, maybe some lobster or something. Not just a fucking pizza. As you can see here, you can also just get a slice of pizza for about $6 to $7, which, I mean, yet again, is fucking mental. You'll have to tell me if this is just the normal prices in America, but to me this is so expensive. A normal pizza in my area, if we're not looking at just the most expensive one, just your average pizza, probably about £7. Maybe a little more if you want to be a bit more fair about it. But it's no more than £9-10, and he's selling a slice for $7. And of course, people are absolutely mental, so the queues for this place have been ridiculous. In fact, some people are waiting 8 hours just to get a pizza.
How long did you wait in line for?
I started in line at 8 hours.
We've been here since 9:30 AM.
I'm sorry, okay, I have seen some big queues for certain releases, but I have never seen anything more pointless than queuing 8 hours for a fucking pizza. Just go Domino's, you know, maybe Pizza Hut, maybe just your local pizza shop. Why are you waiting 8 hours for a pizza, for fuck's sake? It makes no sense to me. And what makes this even better is a lot of people have been complaining about the pizzas. Not particularly with the taste or whatever else, more so that they're just not made fresh and they're kind of left out under the heater thing. As you can tell, I've never really worked at a pizza shop before. They've been served a bit cold is what I'm trying to say. And there's even a video where David Dobrik is getting a customer to taste test some certain pizza. And the customer says, "Oh, that one was better than the one I had before because that one was actually fresh."
I think because the pepperoni was already out, that's why it didn't taste that good.
Oh, this is fresh?
But this is better.
Yeah, I didn't like the pepperoni pizza because it was just left out on the side, you know? that would probably make the pizza taste a little bit worse. And now on top of the fact that they were serving pizzas that weren't entirely fresh, they also have just stopped selling full pizzas, or at least they did for a period of time.
And I'm like, hey, so how do I need to get a full pizza to get the big box? Because they have the big Doughbriks box right on the side right there. And he tells me, oh no, we're not doing full pizzas. Single slice, up to 3 slices per person, and it's only what's in the window.
Can you imagine waiting in the queue for about half an hour is what I'm seeing from most people, like days after the release, to only get given a slice of pizza? Are you not embarrassed? I'm not specifically talking about Swell Entertainment here because she obviously went for the content, you know, the review of the place. But the actual people who are staying in the queues just for a slice of pizza, or even a full pizza, I don't care. If you're waiting that long, what are you doing with your life? There was also this little fun, unique idea they did with Doughbrik pizzas, where when you receive a full pizza, if they have any, you actually got a coin, and you could use that coin for either some ice cream or a pizza party.
You can either take it right here around to our side window where you get a free scoop of ice cream when you trade this in. Or you can come in here and put your coin into this little wall right here where it says pizza party. You just drop it in and then this button lights up. You hit it.
Well, that's definitely copyrighted. Can't be dealing with that anymore. Now, as much as that might seem like a cool little add-on, the first thing that did spring to mind is that's gonna get pretty annoying for the employees after a few times, isn't it? And it turns out maybe it was just getting annoying because they got rid of the coins. Just stop giving them out.
We waited about 30 minutes, and when we got in, we found out that they weren't giving out tokens anymore, which was sad because I really wanted to have a pizza party.
So as you can see, this person was a bit disappointed because they wanted to have like the pizza party thing, which I'm assuming that means they were maybe like a fan of David Dobrik because they were looking forward to it. And then they go on to review the food, and they weren't overly impressed.
They also ran out of tavern, so we ended up getting the doughy hot honey cheese. And not gonna lie, it was just a really super mediocre pizza, and overall I rate it a 5 out of 10.
I mean, come on. Just look at it. You're waiting 8 hours to get served that? What is wrong with you? I can't even be that mad at David Dobrik for this, okay? I just think some people have very stupid priorities, to say the least. They've also had to change the opening hours. I'm not sure if that's because they're like short-staffed, or it was a lot more work than they expected, or they just weren't very organised, because if you go to their Instagram, it says temporary hours of operation, Sunday, Wednesday, 4 PM to 10 PM, Thursday, Saturday, 4 PM to 12 AM. So the whole thing of like going to the store at 3 AM to see David and his mates all drunk hanging out, it's just gone. And now probably the worst part for David Dobrik during this opening, someone actually graffitied the R word on the side of the building, which I'm assuming he probably wasn't thrilled about. In fact, there's this video where they were covering up with some type of sheet, but yeah, something like that was bound to happen, wasn't it, after the way David Dobrik's been in the news over the last few years. But this is where we get into the Jeff Wittek and David Dobrik stuff, because Jeff Wittek actually has a podcast where he has Tana on as like a regular guest, like pretty often. I'm pretty sure it's once a week. And Jeff and Tana have been getting a lot closer recently. He even says that Tana and Mike are like the main people in his circle. But Tana Mongeau went to David Dobrik's launch party for Doughbriks, and obviously Jeff was pretty pissed about that. Because I get that you can be friends with people like your friends aren't friends with, that's completely normal. But when that person like nearly killed you for one, you would maybe think twice, right? But yeah, they have a bit of a debate about it, and Jeff goes on to say some new information that we haven't heard yet, and Tana's just oblivious.
I was really sad thinking that you doubted how much I love you and like how much I support you and like how much I have your back.
I mean, that's not exactly true, is it? Like, I get it, you wanted to go to a party because you're Tana Mongeau after all, but you can't sit there and say I have your back no matter what. You went to the enemy territory.
I didn't doubt how much you had my back. I didn't doubt your friendship towards me. I felt like you got taken advantage of and manipulated, and you fell right into a trap, and that's what I was like pissed off about.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there, because it does make David Dobrik look a little bit more innocent in the situation, right? When one of Jeff's best mates are still supporting him so heavily and going to his party for his opening and whatever else. So I can get how he would feel like she may walk into a trap. I'm not sure if that's exactly the case. Maybe it was just an invite because I get David's her friend too. But I can see why he would be pissed.
I have spent so much of my time doing everything to show you that I'm there for you.
I know.
Not attending things, not doing things, not being around certain people. I have adopted you as my best friend and let go of a lot of like LA or faker friendships in order to make sure that you know how much I love you.
You know, I've let a lot of people go. You know, I always have your back no matter what. But you don't understand. There was a free bar. And who's gonna say no to free alcohol? Like, at the end of the day, it's Tana's choice if she wants to be friends with David and support him or whatever else. But it's just funny when she gives this speech being like, I'll drop F1 for you, when clearly that's not true.
That's because he was doing that to me with my old friends. He said, you can't hang out with him because if you hang out with him publicly, then you make me look bad.
That's a fucking good point, by the way. Like, all of these people seem to have dropped Jeff Wittek and are no longer friends with him because he doesn't hang around with any of the vlog squad anymore. So I get how he can be like, oh, well, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth. I'm not allowed to speak to any of, like, our old friends, but you can speak to all my friends. Like, I get it. I get his point.
What if I told you that my accident wasn't as much of an accident, it was more of a failed prank that I wasn't in on? And then when it came down to it and I was in the hospital and they filled out an accident report and they said that I was driving it.
Right, so that's obviously the big fucking bit of information. You can see that he was like kind of thinking about saying it before he even said it. So let's kind of break that down a little bit. So he says that the accident wasn't actually an accident and it was a failed prank. Now what I can only assume that means is that David kind of meant to go like quite a bit quicker and it was almost like a setup thing, get Jeff on here so I can go a bit quicker as a prank. And I'm obviously assuming he didn't mean for Jeff to fucking whack into the crane, but that was the whole like point of it. Like, oh, let's try and get Jeff on and I'll go really quick, that can be the prank. And then the bit about the accident report, apparently whoever filled out the accident report of what happened, and maybe it was David Dobrik, I know David apparently went to the hospital with Jeff, they said that Jeff was the one who was driving it, which I don't even know how that would be humanly possible with the injury he got, but that was what was filled out apparently. But if that is true, and they were saying that Jeff was the one driving it so they can remove themselves of any responsibility, that is so fucked up beyond belief.
And that's stuff I never said to anyone.
Yeah.
So
like you were super wronged.
Yeah.
And it sucked. Mm-hmm. But loving you and knowing you for how great of a person you are.
I feel like Tana just didn't realise exactly what he said there, because that was like such a big bit of information that apparently no one knew, as he just said right there, and she just kind of carried on being like, oh yeah, I know you were so wronged. I feel like if she did realise what he did say, she would be a lot more shocked. But yeah, the fact that he said that's something that he hasn't even told anyone does make me believe that he's saying that it was David who did write the report and that this prank was the way I almost described it, maybe slightly different. And it's clearly a big piece of information because he decided not to actually tell anyone publicly. But yeah, I mean, if that is all true, as much as David already looked like a fucking awful human being with the way he dealt with the whole situation and the fact that it even happened in the first place, that makes him look so much worse. And it makes sense why Jeff has been so hurt from this, like, even mentally, right? The fact that he doesn't want anything to do with David and is now going to court, and how upset and how immediate his response was when David released that podcast, kind of trying to plead his innocence. He's clearly so hurt by this because there's a lot more details that we probably still don't know. And yeah, David was a very incompetent, selfish person that day, to say the least. But either way, I'm going to leave the video there. I would love to know your thoughts on everything I mentioned in today's video, from the whole pizza shop thing to the stunt and what Jeff just said. Let me know everything, and yeah, if you did enjoy, please do like down below, subscribe if you are new, and if you want to let me know any more topics to talk about in future videos, that this is where I got this topic from, it's my Instagram DMs, right? It's @MARKIE, it's always linked in the description, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit, alright? Goodbye.